First of all, welcome everybody. I'm very excited tonight to have the guest that we're here interviewing, specifically a scientist. And what we're going to be talking about tonight is specifically ketogen 4 and KG4, the science behind it, and a lot of surprising benefits that most people don't know. I was fortunate enough to meet Dennis a few months back through Darlene, and was really impressed with his background and the science of, the products that I didn't realize. We all think about fat loss and keto, and that's kind of like the main thing when you talk about your KG4, ketogen 4, and of course now the keto day and keto night. But turns out Dennis actually started writing some papers, almost, I guess you could call them white papers, on the products and what they can do, and blew my mind, frankly. So I thought it would be a great idea to have a quick little interview here, and again, maybe do this in a few segments where we can kind of get into further topics. But tonight, just to kind of scratch the surface, first of all, welcome, Dennis. Thanks for coming on.
You're welcome.
Why don't you tell everybody, all the listeners, about your background? I mean, I called you a scientist, a mad scientist. So what's your background? What are your credentials? Tell us a little bit about yourself.
Okay, well, my educational wise, I am a ACS certified master degree analytical chemist. That's my in separational analysis. And in other words, somebody who can follow trends and understands the science of separation of compounds. And for 45 years, though, it got me into the health and nutrition field a long time ago when I was about 20 years old, which is 67 years ago, 47 years ago. And basically, I had a Graves' disease. And, you stay on the allopathic medicine, keeps you alive, but you don't have a life. That was the problem. So just imagine being.
Let me ask you, what is, because I'm not really sure myself, what is Graves' disease? I've heard of it before. What is that?
Well, it's named after the doctor, Dr. Graves. And again, many years ago, you actually died of the disease. In fact, I came very close to it because I had a undiagnosed disease for many, many years. And that caused, it's a super overactive thyroid. Okay, it's overactive thyroid. And people say, oh, everybody's got one today. But I had a classical one. And basically, my sitting heart rate was about 140 beats a minute. All right, so it was eating. Your body will consume itself. You can burn 5,000-6,000 calories a day or more.
Wow.
And you're just constantly losing weight. You're losing muscle tone. Eventually, your heart will give out, something will give out, and you just will die.
Yeah.
It was diagnosed at 17, and I was on medication for 4 years. Medication has a positive, kept me alive. Has its negative, no life. You're in pain a lot. Medication causes all kinds of irritable bowel syndromes, all kinds of issues with your body.
Yeah.
So I was searching as a young learning scientist a way around this, and I found the world of nutrition. And so basically, long story short, I was able to get rid of the disease, put it into remission. And it's been in remission for 47 years. Through the use of nutrition by balancing the chemistry of my body. It's called homeostasis. So I rebalanced my body, eliminated inflammation, was able to reverse the receptor site to the thyroid gland to accept iodine, and I'm back to normal.
Wow.
And basically, I've been doing that for years, and that's why I'm very, very serious about and very particular about what I put in my body.
Right.
You know what I mean? So that's my general background of why, and I've been consulting for 45 years, trying to help other people. I was able to help people. I have some doctors come to me also with, Bell's palsy, which there's really no cure for. And I know how to eliminate. I have been actually, I was able to help them by utilizing the theory of inflammation. So I gave a lot of anti-inflammatories, all natural, and boom, within 30 days, it's basically subsided for them.
Right.
I never use the word cure because I don't cure anybody. Just want to get that straight to the group.
Right.
I'm a scientist. I rebalance body chemistry.
Okay.
And I use natural products to do so. That's what I do. The body will cure itself.
Got it. So you're not on any medication at all right now?
No, I have not been on medication since I was 21 years old.
Wow. Okay. Okay.
Actually, I don't take anything except a lot of nutrients.
Right. Right. Now, when you heard about this product, the ketogen 4, and now the new version, that has the stevia instead of the sucralose, the KG4. Um, what obviously you're in good shape. I know we had a conversation offline. You're obviously very physically active at your age. You're doing a lot of things. So it's not like you were necessarily looking for fat loss, but what was it that attracted you to, looking more into the product?
Well, my cousin called me up and he said, "Look, you got this product line. I may want to use it. Can you look into it and what it is?" So I pulled down the label and started doing the research on the ingredients. So I did research on the major ingredient first, which is the beta hydroxybutyrate, okay, BHBs, and I looked at some meta papers, over 179 research studies out there. I personally read about 40 of them, and the more I read, the more I got excited. It wasn't to me about a body fat loss. I mean, I was 156 at the time, and I didn't need it was a 32-inch waist pants, so in pretty
Right.
good shape.
Sure. Yeah.
So I really didn't need a fat loss. But what excited me about it was the health benefit. I said, this is a wellness product. This product will help reduce my aging process. This product will help eliminate my probability of by the way, everything I say is about statistical probability. So I just want to get that clear to the group. Okay, so actually, dementia, okay, is one of the big things. Actually, in the research, they showed 20 to 30% reduction of reversal of dementia on patients. I'm talking about blood pressure. I'm talking about inflammation of the body, which is the most important thing. If you can eliminate the inflammation through the stress or any other environmental effects, you can eliminate 60 to 90% of the old diseases in life. As a matter of fact, it was just there's an article just put in on the senior AARP. They're saying the cure for everything. They really know how to get people's attention. And what it was, the scientists said that inflammation is the number one cause of all diseases.
Right.
Well, I've known that for over 35, 40 years.
Yeah.
They just learning about now. So this is where the advantage of nutrition has beyond allopathic medicine, because allopathic medicine is a sickness medicine, and it is needed. And they get a lot of my, I have a lot of admiration for these doctors because it's very, very difficult job, but they cannot keep you well.
Yeah.
They do not do that. It's not their job.
Well, I like what you said before, and I'm going to say it again, just so we have it up there, in big bold print. This conversation and talking about this product is not designed. We're not saying it's going to treat, prevent, cure any disease. That's not why we're here. Of course, you got to abide by the FDA guidelines. But we're talking about what you've personally, your years of study and research, the peer-reviewed papers, all the things you've come across, and how it relates to the ingredients in the product. So just to once again make that very clear. But it's funny you say that. Quite a few people now are really starting to question the statins, right, and taking these drugs to lower cholesterol because they're saying it's not even necessarily what a lot of doctors are supposedly coming out and saying now. It's not your total number, it's the inflammation, which is exactly what you just said, which is what causes the heart disease. And I guess my biggest question would be, in this Ketogen 4, KG4, what is it in there that would possibly help with inflammation? What ingredient or combination of ingredients?
Well, you got a load of ingredients that will do it, but your major ingredient that's going to do it is the beta hydroxybutyrate. Okay. Because what happens is that people don't understand in our society, if you haven't noticed, we have to be a high carb society.
Yeah.
You go to the store and you can't find anything but carbs.
Right.
And that was a result of Dr. Key back in 1975, putting out a paper, with the World Health Organization, that recommended to stop heart disease, you need to go on a high carbohydrate diet. He made a mistake. He made an error in his calculation, and they have no computers in those days, so no one checked it up.
Is he the guy who invented the food pyramid?
Excuse me?
Is he the guy who invented the whole food pyramid with grains and starches, like being your biggest food group and all that, or no?
No, that's from our FDA. They put that stuff out, and but what he did is that he presented his paper saying lots of carbs, whole grains is healthy for you, and eliminate the fat. Remember we went into low fat craze? Eliminate the fats, okay, and limit the proteins. That's what he said. And that if you take a look at the graph of things like diabetes, you'll find that it's extremely level until about 1978, 1980, okay? And all of a sudden it starts taking a turn. And a couple of key things happen during that period of time. One, high carbohydrate. Number two, what hit the market in about 1979, 1980 was high fructose corn syrup. Now, fructose was thought to be healthy nutrient for you. But years ago, people took maybe 2, 3, 5, 8 grams, 10 grams maybe of fructose. So because it bypasses, it's great for diabetic. It bypasses the insulin system. However, when it hit for high fructose corn syrup on the market, it was in everything. People went from 7 to 10 grams to 50, 100, 200 grams and up and more a day. And that caused an equilibrium issue. Again, remember I told you everything is equilibrium, everything's homeostasis in the body. So too much or too little of anything is harmful. And what happens? Diabetes. You take a look at the graphs, start going through the roof, and it's right now, metabolic syndrome is the #1 disease in America. It's 65% of Americans are overweight.
Is that tie? I was just going to ask you that. Does that tie into the start of the obesity epidemic as well?
Yes, around the carbohydrate area, the obesity started increasing during that period of time. So you asked me a question about a bit of information. What's in ketogenic 4 that reduced inflammation? Well, the ketones. Beta hydroxybutyrate, if everybody didn't know this, are ketones. In fact, I termed my little term for you have the ketogenesis diet, as you know, and you've done a great job at it. I saw that, but you can attest that's a very difficult diet.
It's very hard. Yeah, very hard and not enjoyable.
Not enjoyable, but it works.
Yeah.
But not people are driven for that. However, the ketogen diet, I termed the new diet called the ketogen diet, okay, which is it's a modified low glycemic diet, which means you're between 50 to 70 net carbs.
Exactly. It's so funny you say that. I want to pause there because all of my research on keto said you have to stay less than 20 net carbs per day. Well, like I said, I told people, I did my transformation last May leading up to my wedding. So it was about a year before then, a friend of mine in the real estate world told me about the keto diet. And I, always carry 20, 30 extra pounds. And I'm like, oh, I want to lose weight. I tried it. I lasted 5 days. I didn't feel good. I didn't like how I felt. I asked Larry, I was on the couch. And I felt like, the whole keto flu. When I decided to do this and when we got this product, when it was released, we went to a meeting in May. I'm not even sure if you were in the business then, and this came out. This is the KG4, but I was really intrigued with it because I don't know a fraction of what you do science-wise, but I did a lot of reading since then and about the keto flu and everything. And what I came to find out is that, when you're lacking essential minerals and nutrients, when, your salts, your calcium, magnesium, potassium, sodium, that's why your body's feeling that way. So I was probably dehydrated. I wasn't taking in enough salt and all these salts that are in here. So I said, well, let me do it a little bit differently this time. So I went on the keto diet, 20 grams or less, but I took a scoop of this a day, 6 days a week, like they said, 0 keto flu, like no side effects. It was awesome. Took my stomach a few days to get used to it, like a lot of people, but that passed after about a week. But interestingly enough, and I'm glad you said 50 to 70, because a lot of those diehard keto proponents to this day say that you really can't eat more than 20 net carbs a day. Well, I created the whole Facebook group that I believe you're a part in, the biohack group, because if this isn't a biohack, I don't know what is, because I'm literally in a state of ketosis, eating 50 to 70 grams of carbs a day, still burning fat, feeling great. And I know I'm smart enough now that after 30 days that the pee strips don't work anymore. So I went out and got a blood meter. And I'm reading, moderate 2.5, 3.5 of ketone levels, eating 50 to 70 grams of carbs a day, which most people, if you talk to about a keto diet, are like, that's impossible. It is if you're not taking this. And that's why I'm so excited about this. And to hear you and all the conversations we've had offline about how powerful this is, it's, my God, people don't get it. They just don't get it. And like you said, you don't need to lose weight. I mean, you're in awesome shape. And people think, well, even like with the keto day and keto night that just came out, and well, that's a whole nother talk for another day, but it's not always about fat loss. It's about inflammation, what's doing inside of your body. And what I'd love to do on a few follow-up segments, Dennis, is get into some of these other things. Like obviously your mental focus proprietary blend, your alkalizing blend, your normalizing adaptogenic proprietary blend. I mean, the mushrooms. I mean, there's so much in here, the enzymes. And this whole talk tonight, which I know we're going to wrap up soon, we've only been talking about one thing, which is the BHB salts and how extremely powerful they are. And that's amazing to me. You know, I'm a real estate guy. What the hell do I know about this stuff? But the more I learn about it, it's cool. I mean, it's exciting, you know?
Exactly. And the beta hydroxybutirates, okay, and also now with the keto day, keto night.
Yep.
I'm just going to hit on that very shortly.
Sure.
But the C8C9s, okay, the caprylic acid, that is extremely important because that reacts with the body to also goes to the liver and makes ketones, okay. Yep. However, it is shown in research that the astrocytes, which are glial cells in the brain, and your brain's full of these, okay, develops higher energy. So two things are happening. One is that the mitochondria in your cells are burning with the BHBs, preferentially burning the ketones, which is a clean burn. For the average person, the easy way to think about it is just think that you have a Maserati and you're putting regular gas in it and you want to drive down the road. What happens? You can smoke, you can cause
I
problems.
never tested it. I only put the premium in. They warned me at the dealership. They're like, do not put regular gas in this car. I'm like, okay. You know?
Carbohydrate is regular gas.
Yeah.
That's how it burns. It's very sloppy, so dirty, and it's highly inflammatory. A lot of radical oxygen. Everybody's heard of ROS?
Yep.
Radical oxygen species. That's where it comes from. Okay, from the burning of glucose. However, ketones, think of that as a high test plus. Okay, so you have a 98 to 100 octane gasoline in that car. How's it going to burn? Clean, right? And higher energy. Exactly what happens to your brain. It actually, ketones burns clean, lower oxygen levels it needs, so you don't put any stress on your body. No radical species are developed, no inflammation. That is why it actually reduces inflammation in the body. And the C8s also reduce inflammation too, and it develops the energy in your brain of the astrocytes. So the astrocytes are the cells, the glial cells of the brain, and they become highly reactive. And therefore you get the thing called clarity of the brain. You feel smarter. In fact, you took IQ tests and you know, energy, tests for your building blocks and things like that, coordination testing, you can do better if you're on this product and you take it off and put it on a person on a glucose diet.
Right. Now, just to be clear, I mean, somebody can't be eating, 300 grams of carbs a day and take this and think that, it's going to like just turn them around. I think it's safe to say that you do want to eat a low carb diet, certainly not keto, but a low carb, 50, 70 grams a day. I mean, is that safe to say? Or let me rephrase that. If somebody was not on a low carb diet and they had oatmeal for breakfast or breakfast cereal and they had, sandwiches for lunch and pasta with dinner and they were eating a 80% carbohydrate diet, would this still benefit them in any way? Yes,
but the interesting thing is that research shows that even in the presence of carbohydrate, okay, if you have ketones in your body, the cells of your body will actually pull in. It's called pulling in. Okay, it doesn't need a carrier system. It will pull in the ketones and burn it. However, you're not going to get as much an effect. It's going to take longer, and why would you want to eat oatmeal and things like that? We can go to a low glycemic diet. I recommend a low glycemic diet, okay, which means a diet that has carbohydrates, but a lot of fiber with it, and maybe some sugar alcohols you could take with it to make it even lower. And have an amazing effect on this. So that's the difference. And again, you should be taking this for your health, over health and wellness. And again, anybody who's a diabetic, I highly recommend them looking into this. They can bring it to the doctor and say, hey, look, scientist says that this thing will help lower my A1C levels. And how it does it, it actually balances the body. It actually allows the body's sugar level stays level about 90, and just stays level, and the body will come back into operation because the body will heal itself. It does. Yeah. Well, every single time.
And you've proven that in your own life, right? So, wow.
the only thing I'm going to say is, again, anybody who wants to know more details about what we're speaking about, okay, I have newsletters on every one of these topics. We're going to be uploading it on Facebook, and we'll put it preferentially on the GL Entourage group first, or
Okay.
the drink.
Okay.
And so everybody, and I would like to have some feedback. I'd like to have feedback on topics that everybody's interested in, because I come across so much research on a daily basis, and I just get inspired sometimes that this will help people be more healthy. So I'll write something about it. And what I do is I translate very complex. I don't know if you ever read a paper. I mean, some of these research papers,
The
25
ones
pages.
you sent me, I've read all of them. I think Darlene sent me like 3 of them. I've read all of them. I'll be honest, they were a little bit above my pay grade as far as, like, they were a little scientific for me, but I got the gist of it enough that I was very excited to, do this interview with you. And we're not done, man. We're done tonight because we want to keep this short. It's been a half hour, but we, like I said, we didn't even get into the fact that, you don't even need to take a multivitamin anymore. There's a full multivitamin in here. I mean, people don't understand the power of this. I think if they did, they'd be more excited about it. We all know people with dementia, whether it's our parents, grandparents, people getting up there in age. We all know people, 67% of Americans obese or overweight. And again, that's obviously something that this helps with. But how about just feeling better? How about 100% of the people, better mental cognition, mental clarity? And there's so much we can get into with the mushrooms and the alkalizing blend and everything. So I think we're going to have to, do this a handful more times, if that's okay with you.
Yeah, I'd love to do this. And I'll tell you another reason why I also looked into this project and got very excited about it. You're talking about dementia. My whole family on my one side, my mother's side, my mother and everybody else got dementia, and it's terrible to live through. My mother, my grandmother, my aunt, 3 of my aunts now have it. They died of it. One has it, and she started at the age of 62, developing dementia, and she's only 74 years old, and she barely knows anybody. It's very heartbreaking. It's something that it's a calling for me to help solve that problem for people. Unfortunately, it's too late for me to solve my mother, because once you place her into a nursing home or something, you can't give them anything other than what the medical profession allows you to give you, and they have nothing for it. Yeah. So that was my my motivation on that end also. And so anybody who has any needs, bring it to us, and I'll take a look at the research. What I can say is this: between the drink combination and the gel, I mean, you got about 98% what you need. I mean, most people who are nutritionists, I tell you that they put about $500 worth of nutrients in their body every day, every month, and this is much more cost effective and as effective, and even more effective than what they're doing it. Because unless you're a chemist, well, I'll tell you, even most nutritionists, I see them, just look how people age. Look at the integumentary system. Look at the structure of this face and the body. Are they looking like they're 70 years old when they're 70, or do they look like they're 40? And that is the telltale cells what exactly they actually are doing for themselves and how much they really know of their health. Yeah.
Well, I'm excited, man. I mean, like I said, I want to thoroughly break this down. We can do the keto day, keto night, but I can't wait to start talking to you about the gel and the thyroid component, thyroidinum or thyroidinium. I don't even know how to say that word, but we'll get into that in the future. So, Dennis, thank you for your time tonight. This was a pleasure. I learned a lot. I know we spoke, a handful of times leading up to this, but just some of the things you went through tonight, I think it was very helpful for, the group, people watching this. Maybe somebody is watching this, one of their family members or colleagues, told them about these products and they want to learn a little bit more about it. And I think across the board, this was extremely, extremely helpful. So thank you very much for your time.
And thank you, Brian.
Well, we'll do it again, and we'll reach out in the next day or two and we'll get the next one set up.
Okay, thank you. Bye-bye.
All right. Have a good night, Dennis.
Good night.
Take care. Bye, guys.